Hi, this is Victoria Vives, and I arrived to an appointment a little bit early, so I had so many things in mind that I want to share with you that I thought I would just record here in my car. And one of the things is about our life lessons and how interconnected they are with one another, and also with many, many different aspects of who we are. How much we can learn of our experiences, especially when they are kind of hard situations. So the story that I would like to share with you today was about 8 years ago, and I was in Hollywood living on my own, really feeling alone and far from my family and friends, kind of considering whether I should stay in Los Angeles or just come back to Spain. So that day, somebody in my family with whom I have a not so good relationship, and I prefer to keep this kind of private so that that person is not brought up in this conversation, or no bad energy goes to that person. So that person called me, and it was like all of our conversations very painful, and with a feeling of being really devoured by that person, and totally hopeless and helpless and just very dramatic. And I just was destroyed. So after our conversation over the phone, this person was in Spain, and I just went to the street really feeling with a very low energy, very you could say victim, right? Victim energy. So any predator could attack me, right? I was a very easy prey. And I just started walking in Hollywood, trying to focus on positive things and beautiful things, and just nurturing my heart as much as I could. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I saw a pit bull just attacking me and taking pieces of my flesh, which was very dramatic for me. You know, I'm always very, how would I say, very careful with the body. I feel it's our temple. I feel also, because I was very focused on modeling at that time and acting and dancing and all of that, it was my tool as well. So it was terrible for me to see that my precious temple was being attacked. And I was just in terrible panic, because I knew that this could end my life as well. There was this dog, the owner wasn't there, the leash was not tight enough, and it was really close to just let the dog free. It was like a pole on the floor like this, and the chain was tied here, so if it just went a little bit higher, that dog could come out and just do whatever with me. So it was very scary. I was wearing a beautiful white dress, and I was bleeding, and I fell on the floor. The dog was right there. Nobody would stop helping, because sometimes we get scared when we see somebody bleeding on the floor, and nobody would stop to help. So it was very scary, and the dog owner wouldn't come. So at that moment, I remembered, you know, the power of our minds. And I had been in metaphysics for a long time, since 2000 or prior to that. So I started repeating a mantra that many times has brought me miracles. And this mantra is, I bless the angel in this situation, and I ask for it to present itself to me right now. So that means, you know, I know, and I declare that in any situation, for terrible that it may seem, there has to be something positive that we can bring from it. So the dog was there. My mind, I didn't want to go into fear, so I just repeated the mantra and focused on that. And soon enough, a man came to help me. And this man remind me so many of my friends of when I was in my old neighborhood, which was like kind of a ghetto neighborhood. And many of my friends were, in drugs, and some of them actually died because of overdose. And so I tried to escape from that as much as possible because it was painful. Many of my friends and even people I had personal relationships with were in that world. So I tried to go away from that, and that created kind of a rejection from all of that for a long time. But this person that helped me, I'm not saying that he was necessarily on in drugs or anything, but he didn't look like the typical kind of person that I was in touch with at this moment in Hollywood. It was more, maybe he was a smoker, or maybe he drank, or maybe he was using drugs from time to time. And I just felt that person, when I look into his eyes, and he told me, no worries, everything is going to be fine. And he was the only person that helped me. I totally saw Jesus in his eyes, his beautiful blue eyes. It was like very special to me. It totally healed my relationship with this kind of people, maybe, or with these judgments that I put in myself so that I can live a better life in some way by moving away from that neighborhood where I grew up. So this person helped me. He gave me his t-shirt to cover my wounds. He took care of me until somebody arrived. So this person obviously had a beautiful heart, and he reassured me everything will be okay. After that, more people started coming and called for help, and finally the owner of the dog came. He didn't care about anything. He just said like, oh no, my dog is nice and blah blah blah. And I guess he just, I don't know, nobody really cared about that dangerous dog, because that day was me. But what if another person in the same frequency that I was that day of victimhood encounters that dog another day? That's something this owner and the police should keep in mind, and they were there, but nobody seemed to put a solution to this. So I continue telling to myself, things to calm myself and not fall into fear. And one of the things that happened is that weekend I was actually performing a flamenco show that I had choreographed, and I was so excited to be able to share something from my country here in the US and lead a group of dancers and be in the show myself. I've been preparing the costumes, everything, for so long, and now I couldn't even move very much because of the pain. So I didn't want to leave my mind going into negative. So I started just saying to myself, if a door closes, another has to open. If I cannot do this show that I really wanted to do, is because something else is there for me. What is this that is there for me? So I realized something that was there for me, and this was that two of my friends had invited me to go to San Diego, which I really wanted to go, and I never could go because I was always working. And I said, life right now obviously has put me in this position, or I put myself in this position, and I cannot dance, so I have to rest. And this may be an opportunity to go to San Diego, where also somebody else was going very often. And I decided to see that as my opportunity. This person that was going to San Diego often, I just called this person and said, I have two friends in San Diego that invited me to these things. Do you want to go together? So he said yes, and we went. And he is now my husband. So as you can see, this is an amazing miracle, an amazing story that shows us that any situation can be turned around. We all can change anything in our lives, so that is a fairy tale. So yeah, right now is over 7 years with my husband. So you can always turn situations around. So this is a message for you of hope, of knowing that you always extract anything from reality that you focus on. So please, in any situation, make sure to focus on what you can extract that is positive, that is loving to yourself and to others, that is always there. I ask the angel in this situation to present itself to me right now. That was the mantra, and I used it many times and with many blessings. So, well, I have to go to my appointment now, but I'm excited to share this with you. Remember that I love you, that we are interconnected. So we are one. Bye.